Hi, this is episode 2, and it's Dana, and yeah. Okay, so I'm here with Brandon.
Yeah.
Brandon, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
You can just sit facing me. This is super informal, by the way.
Yeah.
Like we're not. It's not like a huge interview. So how are you doing?
I'm alright.
Just come a little closer.
Pretty lazy.
Pretty lazy.
Yeah.
So, how old are you, Brandon?
I'm 19, gonna be 20 in July.
Yeah. So where are you from?
I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan, but I grew up in the reserve. I grew up all over Quebec, actually. Just like all over the place, bouncing around house to house.
Yeah. Like Southern Quebec kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And why don't you tell me, I know like a lot of your story already, but why don't you like just explain how old you were when you came into foster care? Kind of like no, you don't have to explain the details of why, but like maybe just give like an overview of what happened.
Well, I've been in foster care for as long as I can remember, because one of my very first memories of life is waking up in a foster home and already knowing who everyone in the house was, but not knowing who my actual family was.
Yeah. So you come from a family of, tell about your brothers and sisters. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
Well, I have 2 biological brothers and 1 biological sister, but I have a half sister and about 5 half brothers.
Okay.
So there's like probably about 8 boys, 8 of us, and 2 girls after.
Yeah. And you are
I am the youngest in my biological family.
Of your full family.
Yeah.
And then your dad has 4 other ones younger than you.
4. My dad has 4 other ones younger than me, but also older than me. He has 1 daughter that's older than me.
Oh, right. And then your mom has a couple sons older than you.
Well, my mom and dad have a son that's older than all of us.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of siblings anyway.
Just a lot of siblings. It's hard to explain it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like with your time in foster care, you were in Quebec, so it's like a different kind of system than Ontario.
Yeah, it's kind of a silly system.
Yeah, it's very unorganized from what I remember.
Yeah.
How many different foster homes would you say you were in from the time you were, I guess 2 was when you said you went into foster care until you went into the Ontario system?
I must have been in like maybe 6, 7, maybe 8 different homes.
Yeah.
But I don't remember a lot of them.
Yeah. 1 sec. You don't remember like a lot of them, no?
No, not really.
Because you were pretty young, eh?
I just remember going from house to house, different towns, different cities, just different places every day.
Yeah. So you're you're Cree, right?
Half Cree, half Algonquin.
Half Cree, half Algonquin. So were you
Can I go in? Quickly that people are going in?
Yeah. Sorry. So when you were in these care homes, no one were you ever with your brothers or your sisters?
No, but I remember my brother Wendell used to come visit me. He used to come knocking on the door, be like, "Is Brandon here?" And we would hang out, just little kids. Yeah. So I think my brother was the first person I knew in my family.
Yeah.
Then I started meeting my other brothers and my sister. Then I met my mom. Then I met my dad. Like, I've all met them at separate times. You know, I had to meet them because I didn't know who they were.
Right, yeah. So your mom and dad didn't have, like, visitation or anything like that?
Not that I remember. I just remember being a kid, going to school, and going back to the foster home I was living at.
Yeah. That's cool. So how old were you when you went to Le Tab?
I was 12. I just, right after, 2 months after I turned 12.
Yeah.
I got sent there because I was old enough to be sent there, you know?
Mhm. Well,
But,
how young is like the youngest kid? So okay, so give me like an explanation of what Latab is.
like, it's like a youth detention center for kids 6 to 18 years old. And there's a kids group from 6 to 12. There's a teenager group from 12 to 18. But there's also a girls group for all ages.
Okay. So when you were there, was it because you broke the law or like did anything illegal or were charged?
Well, I mean, it was 50-50. It was like because I was like getting suspended from school. I was not coming home for curfew. I was just being a bad kid, you know, not following foster regulations, like rules, shit like that. Or I mean, stuff like that. And the other reason too was because my foster family gave me up, and since they gave me up, I had no other foster family to go to, so I was sent there. So it was 50. I was sent there for both reasons: a place because I was being bad, and because I had.
But you
nowhere
never
to
actually
go.
got like charged with anything though to be in a detention center.
No, the only place I ever did get charged was in there.
You got charged in there because of
because of how people are in there.
yeah. So what was it like? Was it like it wasn't like a group home or foster home, eh?
No, it was more like a. It was more like a controlled environment where we're all being told what to do, almost like jail, you know, like you do this, you do that, and like, you know, we're.
Mhm.
I remember we had summer jobs, but we were only getting paid like $12 an hour, and we were going out to these parks, taking out grass, but I don't know, it's like we were slaves in there or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Making us do a bunch of stupid shit.
Yeah. And like, so when you were there, you were able to go to school, but you weren't allowed to like go spend time out in the community or anything.
You know, I wasn't allowed to go spend out time in the community, but you were able to go to a public school, like outside of the TAP building.
Mhm.
Like I remember, like when I was in Rouen, I went to this school called Narana School, which is outside. It's a public school outside of the TAP building,
Mhm.
and I'll get picked up by a bus and get dropped off at the center
Mhm.
at that place.
But like, you weren't allowed to like go hang out with a friend after school.
No,
No.
I would have to go straight back. And
But
if you did run away, they would call the cops. There'd be cops all around town looking for you and shit.
yeah. So all this, and you didn't break the law, essentially, which is like, to me, that's kind of crazy. Right?
Yeah, it's like once you're in there, you have a better chance of like a higher chance of being incriminated. Or,
Right,
yeah.
because they're treating you like criminals
Yeah.
when you guys are like just children that just don't
Yeah.
follow the rules of the house.
Like
or
I got
whatever.
I got my first charges in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like I never.
you never really hurt anyone.
Yeah, like I never like. I wasn't. You know, that place made me become the way I am. You know, that place made me a little rough. Let's say, I guess.
Yeah, and like, you didn't even really belong there, and a
No.
lot of the kids didn't belong there. A lot of them were just displaced.
Yeah, some of them were like, there'd be like some 6-year-olds there. There'd be like some 8-year-olds there. Just see little kids there
in jail.
walking in the
Pretty
line.
much, yeah. That's crazy. So how long were you there for?
The first time I went there, I was in Rouen 2015 to 16.
So about a year.
So about 10 months the first time I was there.
Mhm.
The second time I went to Val d'Or, I was there for about the same time, 10 or 11 months.
Mhm.
So it was almost 2 years I spent there.
Yeah.
So it was probably like a good 20 months in total.
So 20 months in total. So what happened when you transferred over to the Ontario system? Like, how did that come about?
Well, when I moved to the group home, I still had that LeTap mentality.
Mhm. No, but like, how did you like get there?
It was pretty weird. I just kept complaining to my worker You know, like, I'm tired of being in this place. You know, this place sucks. You know, like, I don't want to be here. You know, I just kept complaining.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I would tell my worker like how they're treating me in there, and like how it is.
So, like, also to reiterate, like, a lot of, you've told me this before, a lot of you don't speak French, right? Like, you're not fluent, you speak Algonquin and English. And a lot of your reserve speaks the same languages too, right? Like, they don't speak a lot of French. So, but the workers there would speak only French, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it wasn't very inclusive for people who didn't speak French.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb too, because sometimes if you didn't understand the worker, they get mad at you, and you'd be like, how am I supposed to know? Like, why are you getting mad at me? I don't freaking know what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they get mad at you, and they throw you in the sun. You're like, go in the sun for 20 minutes.
What's that?
Like, that's like the whole, like, you know what the sun means, you know, in French? They'd be like, hey, blah, 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 sun, I don't know, like in 20 minutes, I don't know. Like,
so it's like the hole, that's like a room that you go to alone.
yeah, and there's nothing in there. It's just an empty room where you're locked in.
And there's 6-year-olds that live here that go to the hole, essentially, who haven't even broken the law. And you were 12 at the time, too.
Yep.
And that's... So, just also to reiterate, this is still around to this day, too, right? Like, it's still an open facility. Like,
yep.
They haven't changed laws around that or anything like that.
No, and they act like they're the best place ever. They act like kids are changed once they leave. But kids, once they leave that place,
they're institutionalized, essentially.
No, once they leave the place, they're like, they just act out, because that place was a trauma center, you know what I mean? Like, it fucking traumatize you, and you're being sent out there back into the world, and you're like acting crazier than you were before.
Yeah, because you don't know how to survive in the real world. You're not allowed to go out and have friends, or you're not allowed to you're in jail, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have like a home. How did you get along with the workers in there?
There was maybe about 2 workers that I really, really liked. But most of them I did not like at all. I actually got charged from a lot of those workers.
Yeah.
Like.
And how would they treat you? Would they treat you like you remember how the group home would treat you versus like there?
They were like, it was almost kind of racist, because they would, like, just say you're trying to, like, you're showing, how can I say that? You're showing initiative to try to learn French, you know? So a worker will say something to you, and they'll be like, you translate in your mind, and be like, oh yeah. So you understand what that worker said, right?
Right.
So I'll go on about my day. The next day later, that worker will fucking get mad at you in French, and will blah 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 in French, and you're just there like, I don't understand you. And they'll be like, yeah, if you understood me yesterday, you understand me now. Like, I'd always have to explain to them, like, that really pissed me off so much. I would always have to look at them right in the fucking face and tell them, like, yo,
I don't
just because I understood yesterday doesn't mean I understand today. Just because I understood that one sentence doesn't mean I understand French 100%. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Like, I would have to fucking, like...
So you wouldn't say they were like they weren't like home...
Oh my God. Just thinking of this right now is, like, actually pissing me off.
Yeah. let's talk about when you went to the group home, okay? Yeah, like, I wouldn't, like, to sum up, they weren't very, like, motherly or homey.
Yeah.
You know,
they
like...
were just real, like, they're real bossing you around all day, like, telling me what to do and stuff.
It wasn't a home environment. It wasn't like a foster home or a group home.
Absolutely not. It was more like a detention center, you know?
Yeah.
Like
it was like guards.
Yeah, they were like guards
for 6-year-olds. Like,
yeah.
you know, like, crazy. Yeah, which is absolutely insane. And it's, like you said, it's still going on today, which I think is almost criminal at this point.
Yeah.
So you got transferred over to the Ontario system in the group home.
Oh yeah, my worker. Oh yeah, I didn't even finish talking.
Yeah. Talk about it.
She asked me, like, you know, like what I said, I kept complaining and stuff, and she was like, "Do you want me to find a place for you?" And I was like, "Yes, please. Like, find me a place other than this group home. I mean, other than La Tap here, you know."
Mhm.
And you know, about 1 week, 2 weeks passed by. She comes back to see me in the center. Like we're both on the table, me and my worker.
Mhm.
Like we're sitting on the table talking, and she's like, "So I found a place for you, but it's in Sudbury."
Mhm.
And it was weird because at first I said no. I was like, "No, I'm not going to Sudbury. It's too far. You know, it's too far from
Yeah.
home." And like, she's like, "All right, well, this offer is still on the table. Like, if you ever change your mind," she says. So about 1 week passes by, and I was like, "Yo, frig this!" Like, I call my worker. I was like, "Yo," I was like, "Set that whole thing up," you know.
Yeah.
And so she called Kent. She called all of
say his
the.
name.
Oh yeah, well,
Called the owner.
yeah. She
Yeah.
called. Yeah, she called all of these people,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just got all set up. I actually went to visit the group home before actually moving there.
Mhm.
I went and visited there just to go look around and hang out in Sudbury for a while. But then they drove me back. Then I remember when the day was coming,
Mhm.
like that day, I woke up in La Tap. I remember it was like 5 in the morning. I went downstairs to eat breakfast. You know, I was eating all my food there,
Mhm.
and I went to court
Mhm.
in Quebec, and the group home owner was at the court with me in Quebec there, and he's the one that drove me back to Sudbury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I woke up in La Tap, went to court, went straight to Sudbury,
Mhm.
and that's how I got out. That was my story, I guess, from
That's
that
cool.
day.
So then you lived, from what I understand, you lived in the group home until you were 18.
Yeah, I was 14 right till I was 18.
One sec. Shh, quiet, guys. So 14 to 18. So
About 4 years, yeah.
when you aged out, because you're technically still a part of the Quebec foster care system, what happened? Like, you didn't get any, like, you didn't get any help from the Quebec foster care system when you aged out. You just had to go on welfare, right?
My worker actually the system when you age out, they actually help you find apartments.
Mhm.
They help you with furniture,
Mhm.
just apartment and furniture. That's all they help you with.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still have, like, if I was ever to get an apartment around here in Sudbury,
Mhm.
I would have a bunch of free furniture from Quebec. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
That's
like
cool.
stuff that I haven't claimed yet.
Yeah.
It's still there waiting for
But they
me.
don't help you, like, financially, though. No.
I don't think so. I don't even know, because
I think you would have been if they did, though.
like if I knew all of this, like, I would have been, you know. But I just wanted to get out of that system as soon as possible, you know.
Mhm.
As soon as I turned 18,
Yeah.
I just kept ignoring all of their messages.
Yeah. 'Cause
Even
you were
though
just
they were trying to, like, help and all that, I just wanted out, you know, because I grew up in that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm tired of this. I just want to be free. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
But I remember for a while they were trying to help me with furniture and stuff like that. I mean, it's still there. I just need to go pick it up.
Yeah. Windows, eh? Like,
Yeah.
So, what was your life like in the group home?
I wasn't complaining. I was just happy to be.
Yeah.
I was like just grateful, you know.
Yeah.
I would hear other kids in the group home be talking like, "Oh, this is the worst group home. This is the worst, blah blah blah."
Mhm.
Talking about how shitty it is. I'm like, bro, like, try going where I was before this group home, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I bet you wouldn't even last 1 month there.
Yeah.
You'd probably be crying, cause
Yeah.
like.
So yeah.
Like,
I
don't
remember,
know.
like, when I worked there, I know, like, you guys didn't get a lot of stuff. Like, it wasn't phenomenal living.
Like, it was okay. Like,
It was
I was
okay.
just happy.
Yeah.
I was just happy to have my Xbox,
You were just happy to be
my
out.
phone.
Yeah, like, you know,
you
like,
know?
be free, essentially.
Yeah,
from,
exactly.
Like, jail,
Like,
pretty
yeah,
much.
exactly.
Like, which, it just blows my mind, because you, like you said, like, you never broke the law or anything. You're just, like, a rebellious kid living in a foster home.
Yeah.
You know? So, from what I understand, also, this happens to a lot of kids that live in Quebec, right?
Yeah,
That
it
are in
does
the
actually.
foster
Yeah.
care system.
A lot of my friends, a lot of my cousins, a lot of the people I grew up with were in and out of that place.
Mhm. Yeah. Same with like you said your brothers and sisters were there too, eh?
Yeah, actually, the whole family's been there except for my mom,
Yeah.
because my mom's not from Quebec.
Yeah. You said your dad was even there, so it's been around for like
My
a
dad,
long time.
my sister, my 2 brothers, and me. Like
Yeah.
all of us been there except my mom.
Yeah. So it's been around for quite some time because your dad's like what, in his 50s now?
Yeah.
So it's just crazy.
Yes. I don't know.
Yeah. So what's life been like since aging out?
Well, it's been quite an adventure actually. I've been all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not the best too, but I try to make it. I try to make the best out of it.
Mhm. Do you feel like growing up in the system, it gave you the right life skills and the right, not necessarily life skills, but the right love and life skills in order to?
Life skills for sure. Well, life skills like most definitely because you know, growing up in like a system where you have to make your bed every day, clean the dishes. Like I know how to do all of that. You know, that's nothing to me.
Yeah.
And, like it's just I'd rather not do it. But it's it's like mandatory. Well, not mandatory, but it's basically like a life skill, like what you said, right? Like,
like life skills.
Like make your bed, clean your room, or like clean the
do you
dishes,
feel like-
clean the house.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have things that other kids your age would have? Other young adults would have, like.
I feel like I'm kind of having it good.
Harrison. Okay. Continue.
I feel like I'm kind of having it good right now. Well, simply because I'm doing good. Like if I was doing bad, like still hanging out and like just, you know, like being a little, you know, I probably wouldn't even have the stuff I have right now.
Yeah. So what are your like goals for the future?
Well, I want to get a part-time job and finish school. Those are my first 2, and after that, fucking sky's the limit. After that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really glad about that. So one more question. So in your time of being in foster care, what do you think? What would you have wanted a worker to do? Like what would you have wanted? Like what was your? I know you liked me when I worked at the group home, you know, obviously. But like, what do you think workers could have done differently to help your experience?
At the group home?
Just anywhere.
Anywhere? Maybe have more of a. Maybe act more of a mother figure or a father figure. You know what I mean? Act more of like. Be that role model, you know? Be that person someone looks up to. Not that person, blah, 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 bossing you around all day.
Yeah. Like, so, like, treating it less like a job and more like, you know, from what I hear you saying, it's like you were looking for parental figures in your life. And
I think so. I think that's what I was, I think.
And you never really had that. You had, like, the rule aspect of it.
Yeah.
Not the love and unconditional kindness.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess so, but like what I'm saying, like when people would be nice to me, like that mother figure, you know, like a worker, for example, when she would like be nice to me and like tell me things, it just gives me a sense of comfort, knowing that, you know, people care about me, like, you know, knowing that I'm important to someone, you know what I mean? It's kind of.
You're important to me, Brandon. But no, I know what you mean, especially being as young as you were.
Like I basically grew up alone around here. Like I have no family here in Sudbury. I'm allowed to say. Like, like I have no family around here. Like all I have are just friends around here. Basically, that's it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sitting down with me.
All right. Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about it after. That was really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it off.